Omsakthi sir, welcome to our next chat session. Today we'll talk about a very important subject called faith. Faith is the foundation for everything, right? Trust, belief. So, in your 43 years with Bangaru Amma, what was your experience in what faith means, right? How did you keep the faith? As I'm sure it was not all bed of roses. How did you develop that faith?
Shakti, Bangaru Sakthi. So what is faith? How do you develop faith? How do we keep faith? It's all about experience. Yeah. So many years ago, Bangaru Amma, my God, my Guru, I see God in Guru, Bangaru Amma of Melmaruvathur. Many years ago, Bangaru Amma said, go to the rural areas, plantations, they call it estates here, the rubber plantations and all that. So we said, okay. So we went, there was one estate, and we just started with children, about 10, 15 children. We started reciting the no theatre mantras. And slowly from there, we moved on to, basically their earnings are not that good, okay? Let's put it that way. I don't want to put it as poor or hardworking people. Survival is a real challenge for them. So we wanted the children, the youth, to know about Amma's Mola Mandram, about Amma's activities, service, and anybody can pray and all that. So during these prayers, and then we go on to tell them how important parents are, how do you treat parents, God are your first gurus, So a child, they listen. They listen. So faith is about listening. So when Bangaru Amma said, go to rural areas, go to these plantations, we could really see, it opens our eyes. And the faith becomes deeper. And that's when we realize that faith is all about actually self becoming selfless. Self meaning you understand, you understand, and you realize. It's what Amma says in spirituality. It's about knowing oneself, understanding oneself, and realizing oneself. And when you go to these places, you can really feel it, You can really understand what Amma is trying to put forth to you and making you develop that faith, keeping that faith. Actually, what does faith mean? So when we embarked on this service, we used to go there about 5, 6 o'clock in the evening when it was bright, But by the time we finish, it is still okay because from the main road to go into the estate, we have to pass through all these rubber trees and all that. But one fine day when we started giving alms, school bags, shoes, uniforms and all that, this is all part of that service. It's just not about prayers and, about giving speeches and all that. It's also about you see to believe and helping them. So rice, fundamental things, we just go and give. So we arranged for that one event. And that event took some time. So it kind of it was a bit late. And we didn't realize until we left the house. And as we were coming out, going to the main road, it suddenly became, we couldn't see ahead of us, even though the car lights were on. But trust me on this, we couldn't see ahead. And at one point, I was driving so slow, I and my wife, two of us. We got to a state where we didn't know where were we. It was so eerie and dark, and we didn't know what's going to happen next because we couldn't see. It was pitch darkness, And imagine driving a car and panic starts. So we started shouting Omsakthi, Omsakthi while I was driving my wife. And that's when it happened. Suddenly, out of nowhere, we saw one cow, beautiful, pure white. It's so divine. Suddenly, it just came from nowhere and it lighted up the whole area. So much so we could now see, it's as though it was broad daylight, and sun shining kind of. I think, my goodness, and it was split seconds. The cow came, it brought the light, and then it just, it passed by where I was sitting. It had also had a bell at the end of it, So the sound, the light, it just passed me by. And at that point, you are like transfixed, you don't know what's going on, but you can only see light, pure white light. It really, from the darkness to the light, And then I looked at the rear mirror, I couldn't see the cow anymore. It just vanished into the darkness behind. Can you imagine? It's pure darkness at the back in the rear mirror, but in front of me, it was God. I mean, it was light everywhere, so clear. So the point here, how is it related to faith, is about listening. Very important. When I say I have faith in him, in the Guru, so whatever he says, we must listen. We must practice it. We must execute it. No matter how difficult, no matter how challenging, no way we can do. No. We must say, we must try to do. We must make an effort to do. So faith, as you said rightly, is the foundation. Faith is hope. Faith is trust. Faith is truth. Faith is, if you ask me, is everything. It's, you breathe, you just have faith that you sleep in the night, you wake up the next morning. It's a faith that you will wake up the next morning. Oh, I got up. Oh, fine. It's all based on that belief, on that faith, nothing else. So faith here, I have many experiences of faith, but since time is of essence, how we develop faith is all, developing faith and keeping faith is interrelated in a way. Why I'm saying that is, okay, you want to develop faith, you want to keep faith. One very good way is, you hold the sin mutira all the time, every time. You just, but this is very important to me in my experience. When I hold the sin mutira, I can actually visualize. I am in it. The sense that what does these 3 fingers mean? Why is this finger bent and holding on to this? So here, it's life's challenges, the temptations, the senses pulling us here, pulling there, all that, the 3 likes, dislikes, real, the unreal, everything to do with the Maya, with this materialistic world. You control. You bring yourself. Amma always says in Arvaku, learn to control your senses. So these senses is about these 3 fingers, the Anavam, Kalmam, and the Maya. So if we can control this, we know for a fact, with our deep faith, strong faith, we can overcome all this. And eventually this finger is about cleansing. It's becoming pure. It's getting back to the thumb, which is the divinity, God. So when we live this life, we must live it to the fullest, the best of our ability. Challenges, I kind of like, I saw a video this morning, fascinating and really, really, in this video, the guy says, do you know trees? They actually have 2 directions. I was for a minute, tree grows in 2 directions. I was thinking for a second, what does it mean? She said, do you know when we plant the seed, it's actually growing down. The roots are, so it's growing down. And then when it forms, in that dampness and in that struggle, it reminds you of the lotus story, how it actually survives in that, and then progresses, and then what you see is just the tree progressing, and then fruits, and then giving to everyone and becoming benefiting everybody. But we don't see the struggles. Those struggles actually is representing our life, our pain, our suffering. That is why in that darkness, the struggle, the problems that we face, we can put it as darkness. So when I saw the cow in that darkness, it reminded me of all this, just because we listen to what the Guru says. And when we listen, we don't question. Why we don't question is because of experience. Many people, they are kind of like believe faith, it depends on positive results, good things happening. And when things go wrong, when things don't happen, the faith kind of like, it becomes shallow. It becomes a struggle because you have expectations. So developing faith, keeping faith, very important is from experience, I don't want to have expectations. To me, that is the number one rule in developing faith, keeping faith. No expectations at all, no questions. I believe in my Guru. What he says is the divine truth. I've experienced it in 43 years. What he told me in 1983, it's happening today. It's patience. Faith is patience, perseverance, persistence, practice. Everything is in that faith. So
But
when we want to develop faith, especially when times are difficult, times are challenging, when you are on the verge of giving up, because I've experienced that. In fact, I think I shared it in my last. I wanted to commit suicide because there's no point of living. Pressure at work, pressure in family, health pressure, this pressure, that challenge, this problem, everything kind of like comes together at one point where it wants to break you, and that is when your faith comes in.
your faith is
How
tested.
how yeah, your faith is tested exactly. And because I had faith in the Guru, Bangaru Amma, it kept me going. And one of the things which kept me going was this, reading the Sakthi Oli. This is a very, very powerful tool. People share their experiences in this. And when you're down, when you think everything is piling up and you got nowhere to go, nowhere to turn to, you start reading these things. People start sharing. There's one which really blows my mind. There was a lady, her husband died. She loved her husband so much. She wanted to have another few more years. And when the doctors pronounced that he's dead, she left everything and she ran to the Guru. And the Guru Bangaru Amma is saying, hey, what is this? Your husband is dead then, you are here. You should be there attending to the funeral. And what are you doing here? He said, the lady, that faith, I'm talking about. No, I know you can make him alive. You can bring him alive. I don't believe in the doctors. I only believe in you. And that's when the Guru says, you go. And when she goes back, it's a miracle that the husband is alive. It's all that faith that you have, that the Guru can keep the husband alive. So these kind of stories, when you read it, it kind of motivates you, inspires you. I mean, we have problems, but here the man is gone. He's declared dead. There's nothing, there's no more way of doing anything. But then her faith brings her to something which science doesn't tally, nothing makes logic of it. How is a man who is pronounced dead, suddenly he's alive? It's that faith. So reading this is just one experience that thousands and millions of devotees share. Read. When you feel down, when you are really, you develop faith, and you keep the faith, it's really, really difficult. I know people who have, when you read this, you sometimes you tell yourself your problems are not really that big. When you read these people's problems, you really can see the magnitude of their problems, and they survived it.
There are many
And they,
experiences where people had problems and they opened the Shaktivali book, and the very first Arulvaku is answers their questions, right? I have had that experience. I think many people, it's not a coincidence. There are many people who have written and who have said that whenever they have any kind of a confusion or a problem or they don't know what to do, they pick up a book of Shaktivali and they start reading, and there they get that answer right away, as if
yeah,
like
you
Amma
get
is
many
telling,
answers.
giving them the answers.
Yeah, yeah. So you don't know. Faith is hope. So when you read this, you get so much of hope and then the trust. Oh, why is my belief not so strong? That's when you ask yourself these questions. So the self to the selfless, where selfless here meaning that my life, the breath, the breath that I'm inhaling, it is all from that power. And that power is there for us to be strong. Believe in yourself, believe in Amma, in your Guru, and everything will work out. But sometimes it just doesn't happen. That is when the test comes, when it doesn't happen. So that tree analogy, where the roots take shape in the body, where you can't see things. Like another way of developing, keeping faith is meditation. You know, you just sit down and you don't know what is going on, but behind it, just like the root shaking, taking shape, fighting the resistance, the hardness of the ground, and all that, needing water, needing the love that you pour to make the seed grow. Similarly, in meditation, you don't know what's going on, but you just believe, you have the faith. Whatever problems you have, you just put it forth to the Guru and you get answers. Just like in Satyoli, you get answers. In meditation, you get answers. Observing silence, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just don't talk to anybody. Just try to keep introspect, contemplate, meditate. In that silence, you find a lot of answers coming. And then your faith kind of like, it's amazing. It's something that you can only feel. No words can describe it. But that faith, how you develop it, and another way of actually developing and keeping that faith is you read autobiographies of great people, great saints, freedom fighters, Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King. These people, they were selfless people. And when you read about them, then the great saints, how they overcame challenges and how they became great people. You know, Shankaracharya and all these Adi Shankara and all these people, Jesus, Prophet Muhammad, all these people who have inspired people. When you read, then you come to a stage where you know what's going on. You can imagine the kind of faith they had. Faith translating to making people believe, giving the trust to giving the hope to them. So patience, kindness, and they use these qualities. They are very patient. No matter what you throw at them, they bounce back. So meditation, when you sit and you meditate, all these thoughts come to you, but eventually you come back. You bring back your thoughts to that one. That's what Amma says. When you meditate, try to bring your thoughts to one. So you have many thoughts which come, but you bring it back. Come. So when you fall, you must get up. When you are down, you must wake up. So when you read these autobiographies, these people, they had so much of failures in their life. Our failures are small when you look at them because their challenges are so big. They're fighting for independence of a country. They're fighting with so many people. And then their own people are also backstabbing them and, all kinds of challenges. And yet they rise with what? One single factor, their belief, their faith, their conviction that they must achieve this. And that
To
faith
add,
is,
sorry to pause you, to add to that, I think in this phase when we are not able to see Amma physically, I think one of the
yeah,
things that motivates me is whenever you watch a video, YouTube video where Amma is getting down, coming to the temple, she first puts that coin in that Omsakthi Meda, and then that whole procedure, how she goes inside the temple, and then she goes and gives Arulvak, that itself gives us so much of mental strength and gives us that, as you said, the faith, right? It transports us into that world when we have seen that in Melmaruvathur, when we have seen Amma going around the temple. It transports us into that part of the world. That gives us some energy, saying that yes, Amma is there for us, and we should continue our not, I wouldn't say struggle, but the fight, with the hope that Amma will take care of us.
The greatest challenge for us now as devotees, as you rightly pointed out, is we have been so used to seeing Amma, running to Amma, because she was there in Melmaruvathur. Now the challenge now is when she's apparently not there physically. No, like you are in US, I'm in Malaysia. We don't get chance to go to Melmaruvathur. People
Right.
in India, anytime they can go and them, so they will feel, to a greater extent. But we, in a sense, that we have been blessed that we have been without Amma in that sense, the physical part of it. So it's more of the mental part where we believe in Amma, we do what Amma says. So it's not so much of a challenge to us, but people in India especially, they feel that because they have been with Amma, as you say, they have seen Amma come to the Siddhar Bidam, everything that she does. And then when you need a voice, you go and stand in the Pada Puja and she talks, or even if she doesn't talk, she looks at you. We have gone through it, but now for them, it's like a big loss. And it's quite challenging for them. When they go to the Siddhar Bidam, they see, oh, Amma is not here. What am I going to do? Am I going to have the same faith as I had before? Is my faith going to come down? What is going to happen now? I got so many problems. Where do I go to now? Meditation helps you so much now. Since 19 October, I've gone more into meditation. I can hear Amma's voice. I can hear Amma's presence more now, Yes, I used to die to go to Marvathur and step on the soil, because just stepping on that soil, I do not know where the peace and the harmony and the tranquility and the serenity comes, but it comes. It comes. So whether Amma is there physically or not, the divinity, the presence will always be there in Marvathur, which we must go to, and is also in us. Always remember, Amma always says, "Na irukren, na irukren." I'm here. Even during the coronavirus, when Amma gave, the speech and all that, she kept repeating that, I'm here for you. Even though may not be, they should already training us to come to a stage where she will not be there physically. She said that Aruvaku, I still have the Aruvaku with me, 1982. Aruvaku books those days. She said time will come where you cannot get near to Balagan, our guru, where he doesn't talk much and all. Yeah, it is all a process where we come to a stage where now we think, where people say God is everywhere, every pillar in the air, so that's what our guru is now. He's everywhere, around you, behind you. It's for you to keep that faith. So it is you. You have to decide now. It is in your hands. I remember Amma's Aruvaku about faith, Faith, and Fate, faith, destiny. Amma says, yes, there is faith. Everything is there. But your faith can change your Fate, faith.
Very
So
well said.
develop that faith, keeping the faith. Keeping the faith is a challenge now. I agree. I know, because I'm experiencing it myself. Next time I go to Maruvathur, Amma is not there. What am I going to do? How am I going to? It'll be a totally new difference. But I know Amma is in me. That meditation that I've been doing, the service, the tundu, is how you also develop your faith. Now we are embarking on a tundu where it schools children again, how they must do their homework. Finishing their homework, they must get their parents to sign. So it's the teacher, it's a school, teacher, a student, parents, bringing them all together. It's like building. You see, trust comes from your building trust, right? You don't simply trust somebody. It's from experience. You look at the person slowly. When you get to know the person better, then you come to a stage where I can trust this guy. I have faith in him. But it takes time. to develop. That is one part of faith. The other part of faith is blind faith. When I saw Amma in 1983, I do not know how or why. I said, God, I have discovered God. I felt God. When I first time I saw Bangaru Amma, I said, this is it. And 43 years later, I'm asking, how did that happen? So the faith is just not now, it's a bloodline. As Amma says, karma and all that, it's all part of that journey that we're taking, the previous lives and the future. So this faith is going to bring you there with hope, trust, belief, everything, patience, kindness, forgiveness. How many times do we forgive? Forgive and forget, Amma says, in the sense that that faith that you have will teach you this. So in this faith, I only have to say that we have to keep reminding ourselves that we are here for a purpose. And the faith plays a very, very, very important, it's like the foundation is what you say. So this foundation in developing and keeping that faith, it's difficult. I agree. It's when you're happy, everybody is happy. When you cry alone. So what do you do at that moment in time? Sakti Oli, meditation, listening to good songs, motivating songs, watching motivational videos. It helps you. Enjoy life, have fun. Don't be too serious and all that. So it's all part of that faith. But you are in control. You're in control of yourself because you have that faith. Nothing can deviate you. You are my guru, Bangaru Amma. He's taught me the faith, how to develop with the faith, how to keep the faith, and I am going to stick to that. I am going to stick to that. That no matter what happens, I'm not going to give up. Faith is about not giving up, never giving up. No matter how bad, how severe, whatever it is, even the lady whose husband died, she never gave up hope. She had that faith. Do we have that faith? That is the question.
I think you rightly said, when you have faith, you become self to selfless, right? And when you become selfless, that faith deepens. And I think the various tools that you gave to keep the faith, like meditation, keeping silence, right? Patience, and staying motivated, right? So I think Amma has given us all the tools. She has trained us. Now she has said, okay, go out and live your world, right? And when we are not able to see Amma's presence, that's where our faith is tested. There will be challenging times, and I think our faith is when it's tested. And Amma said many times, when you have faith and trust in me, I'll never disappoint you. I think that's the message Amma has given us many times, right? And sometimes our mind fails and it starts looking for other options, other solutions. Then we come back to Amma and said, Amma, you have to guide us. So I think it was a very good session. I think you gave us some really good tools. And I'm sure those who are watching this video, and if they are in a state of mind of confusion, I think you bring them back and say, hold on to Amma. Amma is there for us. So thank you very much for your time, sir. Yeah.
The Moolam Mandram, reciting the Moolam Mandram played a very, very, it plays a very important role. And after some time, like what I said, the key to keeping the faith, developing the faith, very, very important, I like to repeat is, have no expectation. It is something which is absolutely difficult. Very,
sir,
very difficult.
When you go from self to selfless, your expectation almost automatically goes down, right? And that's where Amma is saying, do service, right? When you do the thunda, when you do the service, I think that's where you move from self to selfless. And then when there's no expectation, because you're not thinking about yourself, you're thinking more about others, right? And that's where your whole paradigm shifts. And that's where I think that's where you become better in spirituality.
I think you are a selfless person for you to say that. That's good. Good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time. Coming one last thing on Moola Mantra, right? We should all tell, I mean, at least I tell my kids whenever they leave for school, right? First thing they should do before leaving is pray to
Yes,
Amma. Just recite Moola Mantram and then go to school. Or when they have exams, or when they have, challenging
yes,
times at school. This simple mantra that Amma has given is so powerful, right? And I have my kids who come back and say they did the Moola Mantra and they gave the exam and they came out really well, right? We are
yeah,
not saying that don't study hard, all those. That's all has that. But Moola Mantra is one simple mantra that Amma has given that brings in so much of positiveness, so much of calmness, so much of positive result that we should tell our kids, to recite that at least once a day before they go to school, and that will help them to, get better. So, thanks for bringing that up. I just thought about it when you mentioned Moola Mantra.
when we talk about Amma's incarnation, the purpose of her coming down, the whole force, the whole power coming here is basically is about the faith.
Yes.
It's to reinforce the faith in us. So Mula Mandram, very powerful, something that we should pass on, practice it, practice. The Mula Mandram in these 43 years of my life is one amazing tool. Its children, every single child must come to know because
Must
it
come
came
to know.
directly from the divine.
Amma. Yeah, exactly.
Amma.
Sure, sure. Thank you, sir.
So
Thank
Mula,
you for your
yeah.
time. We'll meet next week on a different subject.
அம்மாவை நினை மனமே மேல்மருவூர் அம்மாவை நினை மனமே.
Please like, share, and subscribe to the Bangaru Amma Global YouTube channel for more inspiring and uplifting videos like this one.